What's up, guys? Paulie Malignaggi for Paulie TV. Listen, 39 years ago this week, we had a big heavyweight title fight between Rocky and Drago. 39 years later, you can see here, Rocky and Drago, brought to you by Contender. Get the hat. 39 years later, though, we have Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, or should I say Usyk versus Fury 2. Big rematch coming up this week. Man, it's gonna be some fireworks. Listen, I've gone back and forth with who I think is gonna win. It's you know, Fury is in the rematch with Wilder came out with a completely different game plan and you know, really executed it well and dominated the fight. I wonder if after the first fight, coming out boxing in a way where nobody really expected it. Listen, in the first fight, I think we all expected Fury to try to use the physical size advantage, try to bully Usyk. Never really tried to do that. Came out boxing, which I think actually confused Usyk in the beginning of that fight. If you remember, Fury was having some mild success in that fight while Usyk was cutting him off. Eventually, that pressure of cutting off Fury constantly paid off, where Fury was able to, Usyk was finally able to get to Fury. In this rematch, though, I think it's going to necessitate several adjustments. I think Fury's inability to adjust over the course of the fight in the first fight cost him, because he did start out pretty well, and then after that, you know, it was Usyk that caught up, got the knockdown, and eventually, you know, closed out the fight in fashion, in winning the decision. This fight's a tough one to predict, guys. I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. You know, Fury came in 281 pounds. Usyk came in 226 pounds. I think both guys are going to be in very good shape. You know, Fury, I believe, was in the 280s when he bullied Wilder, right? If I remember correct, I think it was like 283 when he bullied Wilder in the rematch. So he's not super light at 281. I think I can't see Usyk doing anything else except, you know, really trying to box. But like, remember, in the first time he came out, he cut off the ring and he pressed Fury when Fury was on that back foot boxing. Like I said, I think it's going to be a fight where several adjustments are going to have to be made. I think whatever style they decide to come out with, I don't think that's going to be the style they both end up having to be able to finish the fight with. They're going to have to make the adjustment. Whoever doesn't make the adjustment, obviously, is going to be the worse for wear. When I really think about it, and a gun to my head, I really think that, you know, I really think that Usyk probably wins again. You know, I don't know if something was taken out of Fury. I know Lennox Lewis said that if something was taken out of Fury with that first fight, you know, that knockdown. Fury is either, you got to start to ask yourself questions now. You know, going down against a smaller heavyweight who's not known as the biggest puncher, Usyk, could it be that the chin was dented a little bit of Fury in 3 fights with Wilder? Listen, 3 fights with Wilder, one of the biggest punchers, if not the biggest puncher in heavyweight history, it's got to maybe take something out of you, you know? I don't know that you come out of 3 fights with Wilder, despite an excellent trilogy that was, and with Fury winning the trilogy, if that is something that ultimately, you know, it left Fury the worse for wear in terms of punch resistance. You know, if anybody, I'm sure you guys have watched a lot of boxing in your lives. You know, I mean, I don't think anybody follows this page that hasn't watched a lot of boxing. I think you'd agree that eventually your chin is less and less resistant to damage than it was maybe earlier in your career. You know, I think Fury always had a decent chin. He was down against Cunningham. He was down against Wilder, and he was down against Usyk. But I think, I wouldn't say he had the best chin, but he definitely had a decent chin. And his recovery was amazing. You know, his ability to recover really was something else. You know, he'd go down, but his ability to recover was something else. Now, you could tell me, oh, well, Cunningham dropped Fury, so, you know, what is the fact that Usyk dropped him have anything to do with it? What does that have to do with, you know, if he's not the same anymore? I mean, Cunningham was a cruiserweight, dropped Fury. Usyk was a cruiserweight, dropped Fury. So, aside from that, it's only Wilder, one of the biggest punchers in history. I don't know, man. Maybe these cruiserweights are a little quicker, and these cruiserweights and heavyweights are a little quicker, and they're able to, you know, kind of throw Fury off guard a little bit. Maybe the athleticism of a smaller heavyweight, like a world-class cruiserweight, like a former world-class cruiserweight like Cunningham, like Usyk. Maybe that also throws off Fury, because Fury relies a lot on being a better athlete than a lot of these heavyweight opponents that he has. He's huge, obviously. He relies on that. But also being that big and that athletic is very rare. We've actually never seen a guy that big be that athletic in the heavyweight division, right? So could it be the combination of the cruiserweight athleticism coming to the heavyweight division, being a little bit more athletic than him and throwing Fury for a loop? I don't know, because he's obviously beating smaller heavyweights. I mean, most guys are, most of the heavyweights you fight on your way up aren't going to be that big. But maybe it's that combination, because they were world-class cruiserweights, of having that athleticism translate to heavyweight that is the difference. And maybe it's not that Wilder has left a dent in Fury's chin. Maybe it's just that, Fury may have a little bit of a problem with former world-class cruiserweights, because he can't use the athlete advantage that he has against the other heavyweights. I don't know, man. Either way, I'll tell you what. I always think about Eastern Europeans. They're stoic, they're very disciplined, and they're very tough to beat. They're consistent. Money doesn't get to them. Western lifestyle doesn't get to them. These guys always show up the same. And we're Western fighters. We aren't really the same in that way. Money affects us, lifestyle affects us, and so on and so forth. I think Fury's going to give it a go. I think Fury, he's a proud guy. I don't think, he's just going to, come out the worse for wear that easily in this fight. But I do think Usyk ends up getting the better of it again. And then, of course, what happens in that result? What happens to both of these guys in this result? If Fury wins, obviously it opens up a plethora of options. But if Usyk wins, you always have a lot of options when you win. But should he retire and possibly go down in history as one of the greatest, but be in the conversation as the greatest heavyweight of all time, having been a cruiserweight undisputed world champion and a heavyweight undisputed world champion, retiring undefeated, and so on and so forth. You definitely have to put him in the conversation. I think he's good enough to be in the conversation. Then whether you're gonna think he is or not is a different story. If Fury wins, you gotta put Fury up there too, man. I mean, he'll have beaten everybody he fought, just like Lennox Lewis, who beat everybody he fought. If Fury comes back and wins this rematch, and of course it would open up, regardless if people want to hear it or not, it would open up an all-British showdown, either with Dubois or maybe even Joshua, just strictly on the popularity alone. A lot of things to talk about here, man. A lot of possibilities. Let me know what you think, man. First of all, who do you think? Do you think Usyk can repeat, or do you think it's going to be revenge for Tyson Fury? And where do these guys go after this? We have a heavyweight division that is sort of going to change the guard soon, so to speak. A generation is sort of finishing up. And this might be maybe the last of what's been a very good heavyweight generation, the last great fight of what's been a very good heavyweight generation, as the generation of Wilder, Joshua, Fury, Usyk sort of comes to its close and the curtain comes down. How do you think this one winds up, guys? I'm Paulie Malignaggi. This is Paulie TV.